So we have some exciting news that has just dropped from AMC. So we're going to be going through that. Now, don't forget to like this video as it does let me know to continue to do videos like this for you. And if we get 500 likes on this video, I will do another video for tomorrow. So we did a fantastic job hitting the like, goal yesterday. So let's do it again today. But let's get straight into AMC. Let's talk about what has actually been going on, because we actually did end up closing at a minus 1.22%. So it was a red day, unfortunately, but it is still following the pattern that we have been expecting, or are expecting to come out over the next weeks and days or so. So looking at actually the trend that has been forming, we have seen it hold up very, very well at around this support, which I think is great. The fact that it is holding up very strong, I think is fantastic to see. But obviously, a lot of people, if you aren't that into technical analysis, you may not have seen this, but you do know, or looking into more in depth, that we are sitting at a nice support that has been a support time and time again. Now it is still following the falling wedge pattern that we are expected to kind of play out. Obviously, we are expecting a move up, maybe one more move down before the next leg up, as we've mentioned before. But we always do say that when it comes to the technical analysis for something like, AMC, it does work a little bit different, as, AMC is in a little bit of a different place when it comes to a lot of the dark pools, a lot of the off exchange, which we will get into in a bit. But that really does also have a massive say when it comes to the price movement of AMC. Now, looking at the stochastic RSI, still showing oversold positions, and same with the MACD. We are expecting this to have a little bit of a turnaround very soon. But obviously, we do know about the dark pool situation that is by these hedge funds that are trying to push this down as much as they can. So us holding is the most important thing at the end of the day. But, we definitely still I definitely still like to show you what is actually going on behind the scenes. And speaking about what's going on behind the scenes, we actually did see today, when it came to the off exchange, be at 74.99%. So it was a very, very high dark pool off exchange type day. New York Stock Exchange was at 10% as well, with 1.1 million, with the off exchange being at 8.1. So it does say here today's off exchange and dark pool volume is 8.1 million, which is 74.99% of today's volume, and today's lit volume is 2.7 million, which is 25%. Over the past 30 days, the average off exchange and dark pool volume has been 71%, which is honestly insane, and the average lit volume has been 28%. Now, although a 74% day could be considered as a very low off exchange day for AMC, as we have seen days of 79%, 80, 81, I still do believe when you look at off exchange for AMC, it is very, very high compared to a lot of other stocks out there. So it is a lot of, I would say, behind the scenes stuff that is definitely happening. I just like to say that about it. Now, looking at the total short volume reported, we had 34.35, so slightly below yesterday, and then also a total volume reported of 10.53. Now we had a total long volume reported of 65.65 as well, which is interesting to see. And coming into this matchup, we do also know that, obviously AMC is in a position where a lot of movements are happening behind the scenes, as we've mentioned. Now, going to talk about some of the news that has been hitting the Twitter, sort of page, or the X pages. We do want to start off with this actual clip. We got a lot of videos for you, and I think it's honestly a fantastic time, to show all of these, because Fox News, Fox Business has done a lot of segments on AMC, and I think it is really important. But we had this one by DGen Live, who said Gary Gensler admitted 90% of retail trades go to dark pools. So here is what he had to say. So just sit back, relax. I'm just gonna stop talking and let this video play out.
So we're looking at the SEC as to how to facilitate and drive greater efficiency in this market, so investors get a better deal. Payment for order flow, as you mentioned, is a payment between a broker that a broker receives for your order flow, and there are inherent conflicts of interest there. We're looking at how we can ensure greater competition. When you place a market order in the U.S., a market order at a retail platform, well over 90% of those trades go straight to the dark market, to a wholesaler that bought that order flow rather than competing trade by trade. And that's what we're trying to think through under the authorities we have.
So we all know Gary Gensler, right? We all know who he is, used to be the former SEC chairman. So it's honestly insane to see that now, as he is no longer the chairman, finally comes out saying about all the retail trades happening, going to the dark pools, all these different things, and him saying 90% is honestly insane. Okay, there's a lot of criminal activity that is going on with AMC, and it is ridiculous to see, especially if you are, a hodler as yourself and as me as well. And all we can really do is keep fighting the good fight. We also had this who said, and he fixed nothing. Nothing was done. It's all a massive circle jerk clown show. We know that shorts are trapped by AMC and keep the pressure rising. And that's completely true. There is really nothing we can do besides hold, AMC and have these shorts be trapped and be scared, because they know that we are the ones actually winning, and they just trying to keep pushing it down as much as they can until we get scared off. But everyone knows the narrative, everyone knows what's going on. I think that's what's putting AMC at a point where it's really that I like to call it that critical point where the shorts are trying to really trying to recover or trying to push this down as much as they can, but they are a bit too late, and the AMC hodlers continue to hold. So I think that's great to see there. Now, we had Adam Aaron also say this: Veterans Day proudly honors those who have served. AMC is contributing to the U.S. military, moving ahead on the road to perfection with our very own AMC Perfectly Popcorn, now broadly available at military commissioners. So I think this one's a great one to see. Not really much to it in a sense of anything sort of major, but I thought I'd still share Adam Aaron's thoughts on this. Now, we also had this: over 75% of AMC trades today were off exchange, while only 10% went through the New York Stock Exchange. So same pattern we've seen for months. Most retail volume routed away from lit markets, and this is completely true. We have seen this happen time and time again, and I honestly will say, and this is pretty sad to say, but 75% seems like a lower day for something like AMC, because we have seen some big days when it actually comes to the movement of it. So I think that's honestly insane to see. But we had another video from Fox Business, which I think is very good. I just want to show you this, but Roger Hamilton, CEO of Genius Group, said, "If I as a CEO sold fake shares, I'd end up in jail." So this is what the CEO of Genius Group is saying. And also at the end of this video, there is actually a quick interview with the new SEC chairman, and here's what he had to say about it. So give this a watch, guys, and yeah, listen in.
First of all, I want to just point out you've got an amazing business track record. You're currently CEO of Genesis Group. Your shares trade on the New York Stock Exchange. And on January 4th, your firm released initial results of an investigation into outside manipulation of your stock. What did you find?
Hi, Charles. Great to be here. We found that there had been manipulation. There had been fake shares that had been sold in our stock. We had the evidence of it. We used a company called Share Intel and a lawyer you know well, Wes Christian, to get to the bottom of it. And this is crazy that you can actually have traders that are out there, brokers that are out there that are issuing shares that don't exist. So we don't know at this point exactly how many of our shares are out there. We just know there's a lot more than we actually issued. If I, as a CEO of a company, was to issue fake shares, I'd be put in jail, whereas somehow the financial markets are allowed to do this right now.
What does the SEC say about this? When you notified them, what did they tell you?
Well, two things. First of all, the SEC has a pretty standard a way of applying for this. And we have spoken to a whole group of different CEOs, including the legal side, who said, if you go down that route, you're not going to get any answers. We have not seen the SEC do any major prosecutions in any of this. There's people from GameStop still waiting for actions to take place. However, we do have on our board the ex-deputy director of the FBI. His name is Timothy Murphy, and he is now looking to get in at the right level of SEC so we can really try and get something done. However, we're not expecting the SEC to be the ones that take the action. We've got our own actions we're taking.
I want to talk about that because I know you found a whole lot of other companies that are dealing with the same issues that you're dealing with. And you're also a solutions-oriented person. You've laid out 10 winning strategies for CEOs to fight back. I got to admit, I was very disappointed with the prior SEC chair. So it is my pleasure now to introduce the current chairman of the SEC. Joining me now, chairman of the SEC, Securities and Exchange Commission, Paul Atkins. Paul, thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Charles.
Almost every day, dark pools, synthetic shares, illegal shorting, these kind of things. They don't feel like that your predecessor took these things seriously on their behalf. What are you doing about it?
Well, so as I mentioned, we're doing a good spring cleaning is what we're setting out to do. We have a lot of work to do to try to, I think, make up for lost time, frankly. But all of these things, the potential market manipulation and whatnot, we have active surveillance going. We have the tools to do it. We've here recently shut down trading, and during the shutdown, suffice it to say that we're out to protect investors and to make sure that they are not taken advantage of.